Well, if it's a fighting meta, Lee Sin's gotta be good, and he is good. Now, we have Graves against us here, Deep Vision, we didn't track this, Yone in the mid lane, and we're gonna start on the blue buff. A lot of Lee Sin players get stuck in these kind of metas, you know, when there's a lot of activity, just because they end up over-rotating to things and not keeping a strong baseline. Now, it's also worth noting, right? In this particular game state that we have today, with Atakan and all of the feats of strength and things like that, all it's really doing is putting a name to stuff you should have been doing anyway, like getting first bloods and getting early kills and ganking after you full clear. And the biggest thing about all of the games on this gameplay channel that you're going to notice in the first part of this release period, high kill participation. Because it's not good enough to simply sit in a bush and try and look for a gank. You've got to be able to do your quadrant, then look for good action with your F keys, and determine if there is action, hey, is it worth even rotating? Can I get here in time to clean up? Or should I keep farming and then do the same elsewhere? Your assessment on rotations to get the juice is just as important as actually doing it, because a lot of, well, most people have weak rotations when it comes to actually looking at lanes and fights and things like that. Graves is pathing down here. Obviously, we'll anticipate, note that the Lee Sin's on the top side. Pathing opposite is always good against the Graves. Champion isn't that strong right now. The loss of eyeball does hurt him, despite what people say. Remember, it's not just about eyeball. It's that if you were playing Nidalee or anything and he went Umbral Glaive and had zombie and ghost pour attack, then, you know, like, you're going to scale from that as well. So surely there was some information there, Graves, that we knew that he wasn't going to be on the blue. I think we could have anticipated this. I have no idea why we're doing this. This is a little strange. I mean, like, you had this planted early. You would have had enough insight to say, okay, maybe he's probably started opposite and swapped sides. Either way, this goes to show that even in high elo, you can truly make people confused with reverse clears or starting on opposite sides. Now, you absolutely must head to Virkayu.gg. Not only do I have a free jungle improvement resource, I also have a dedicated program with jungle video courses, jungle coaching classes, a jungle VOD library. Courses will be prepped for Season 15 as soon as the changes are stable. All the fundamentals you need for right now are available in a ridiculous amount of hours for content tailored for your MMR so you can climb to reach your peak rank. As we saw from all of those people hitting their peak dreams in Season 14 as fast as possible. So to hit your peak rank in Season 15 and jungle diff every game you play, head to the link in the description below or to Virkayu.gg. We finished our full clear, that's fine. You don't have to cheese, you don't have to chase a Singe like the Wukong did. We look at this, right? Obviously, we can see, okay, do we want to go now? Do we want to do the scuttle first and then go? You make these assessments, of course. Obviously, sometimes mid lane will be juicy. You know the enemy jungle is going to be here, and you have to decide. Do I rotate mid or top? Pick your win condition, pick the lane you choose to snowball. Now, at this particular stage, Graves will be behind in sequence. We got a crashing wave. If you remember, these waves will be thinner now. Look, Owen's cutting it to try and really stop it. There's Lee Sin cutting it as well. And the damage from the Aurora is absolutely insane. We do have the flash from the Ornn. We'll get the slowdown. We'll get knocked up here. The Aurora is going to flash in. We're going to ward hub out clean. And this is really what I'm talking a lot about in the non-challenging games. I understand challenger players can do this and juggle the aggro and use their spells correctly, etc. But even in your regular games, Diamond, Master, Iron 85, Bronze, Silver, Gold, this dive is still a thing you can do, and I do advise you to practice them and get good at them, because you don't get good at these by not doing them, right? And secondly, it still fails in high elo as well, as we can see. Right, 0-2-1 on the support. Graves knows that Lee Sin's coming straight back down here. Will have a pickaxe because of the first blood on the top side. Does not overstay to try and commit. We have the TP from the Corki flying across the minimap. And there you go. So nothing's really changed in terms of our baseline fundamentals with our clears and what we look to do. It just has a reward now, later on, in feats of strength. That'll shift to 1 to 3 kills. Instead of the first blood, it's going to be about the first to 3 kills. And they're going to shift the outcome power around, but the mechanics will remain the same now for the whole year. Some of the priorities will change with the numbers according to right game. So there's a Pyke rotating with the bot tempo he has. Nautilus knows this and follows up. Lee Sin's doing the quadrant after the base. We watch. Graves cuts in for the reaction. This is what I'm talking about. The Graves decided to cut this, and there's the Lee Sin reacting to it. Nice scout of the week from the Syndra. I'm not always 100% sold on fully sending this across here if you're the Graves, just purely because you know Lee Sin's going to be in the vicinity. But if you assess, okay, look, my bot lane, my mid lane and my support, I'm going to shove in here. Lee Sin has no choice but to react. I better proactively move over just in case. This is what happens. Lee Sin's going to jump to his Raptors. Graves now has this pressure. He's going to want to push out. Lee Sin does have smite. There's a Yone. Graves is a little bit low, and he's going to get the flash slow and killed because he didn't at all understand that 4 long swords ain't the same as a pickaxe. And burst damage from Lee Sin plus Yone equals quite a lot. So this is astronomically terrible jungling from the Graves, and this is the difference you're seeing. Aurora top lane. Fun. This is the difference you're seeing between really good junglers who have adapted in terms of reacting to fights and aggression, and those who don't actually know the limit. Like the Graves thinks, okay, I need to push the invade here without thinking about, I warded the Raptors, Lee Sin didn't show it all, maybe he's going opposite. So why even waste time on it, right? It's too much of a coin flip. Or over here, he cuts in for this, it's great, okay? You cut it off, you get a kill, yay. But then he goes for the invade when he shouldn't have. And this just costs him way too much. Now, obviously here, you look at this map, Ornn is rotating, Pyke is here, Graves is here, Syndra's here, and now people are going, but beats the strength objectives. So, you can't win the fight, you don't have the numbers, give it up and hightail it out, leave, it's fine. It's fine. Full clear, scuttle, gank, nothing's changed. Look for the dives. Yes, it's a thinner wave, yes, the turret does more damage, the turret itself is squishier. Mechanics will save you. And practice. And practice. Now, the sequencing again on the second rotation, we cut where necessary, we finish the quadrant, and when we have to give up the rest of the grub pit, we do so, and that's the biggest thing here, right? He started this off, got 1 grub, and then says, well, you know what, I got my bonus jungle experience from season 14, nice, I'm gonna leave, because there's no point dying for this when they're not gonna get an objective, I'm not gonna get an objective, and I can always play around the dragon in the next grub pit, get the first turret, boom, done, right? Ornn rotates mid lane onto the Yone here, so you look at this from the Lee Sin, we say, okay, we're doing blue, we watch this, do we need to react to this? No. Would we win the fight? Maybe not, so we can chill and set a trap. Pyke's out of position there. There's the Q into the ward hop into the kick, beautifully done, smooth as can be. There's Yone with a stacked passive, can he hit it off the wall? He does. His Nautilus at hook does not miss, does not hit. Sorry, does not miss because I'm so used to saying hook does not miss. I don't think I've ever seen a Nautilus hook miss until this very moment. It's true. Don't fact check. So here we do the blue. We look at this, we're like, nah. But then we see them move down, so we extrapolate. So we're like, yeah, set the trap, get the pick, kill. Now we counter jungle just like we've always done. And this is where people get a little bit more antsy too. They're like, well, maybe I can counter jungle here, go down here. Maybe I can take the dragon as well. Fall back to this quadrant, sequence up, gank this again. Yeah, all of these things you can do because you know the Graves in theory should be topside, but this is where it becomes more dynamic, right? We have the Eclipse, so we choose to go back to base to buy the item. This will put us on the bottom side if we want to choose to go for the dragon, which it looks like we're going to do. Graves will be here. Graves at this point will anticipate, okay, look, I don't know exactly what Lee Sin is doing, but this ward does tell me a story a little bit, so I could, in theory, cut up and counter jungle. Look at Syndra rotating. All of the jungle stuff that you know and love, my friends, is all still good. That ward's gonna die. This ward is fresh. Here we go. Lee Sin's gonna cover this this lane here. Q does miss in this particular case. So does the E. And so does the hook. That does hit though. There we go. Okay. And there we are. Eclipse finished. Itemization spike finished. There's a Nautilus. Great. We can go to the dragon. Now, you know at this point, when you do this, you're gonna be losing your top side. Like, that's an accepted trade. And that's because counter jungling is still a thing, counter ganking is still a thing, tracking, extrapolating, playing away from enemy junglers, playing into enemy junglers. All good. Don't overthink it. Seriously. You got an extra 2 minutes to do these grubs. You got some extra time, or less time to do the Herald. That's the anti-cam pressure. But really up until 60 minutes, you shouldn't feel pressured at all. You do the regular stuff you've always done. Of course, because we know that 99% of the Graves has to be up here, and we got Vision, we'll steal his Red, steal his Krugs. Then maybe we can repeat gank this, if the lane state provides, and maybe get some plates, maybe a first turret. Maybe, right? These are questions you ask in your game state, obviously not in this particular game state. However, we do want to avoid losing this first turret here. This is quite low, there's Graves in the mid lane, you know, but we might just have to accept it. And that's fine, you just might have to accept it. You got a dragon, they don't have any objectives here, so there's really no stress. Obviously, if they do have first blood, or not have first blood, what are you going to do? Go and die for this or rotate to this? See this? We choose to rotate to the Syndra. We dodge the Scatter of the Weak. We hold the Q toss to make sure we can get there, get the slow. We'll keep doing some auto attacks there. There's an Nautilus. I see. Flash hook. There's a Lee Sin for the ward hub, I was going to say, but the safeguard. They get the turret now, and now you're looking at it. You're like, well, did I make a wrong play? No. And this is why I've had people actually tell me, hey, you know, yeah, the Lee Sin rotated to the Syndra and so on, but maybe you should have saved the turret to avoid possible feats of strength loss if they had First Blood too. No. 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 Just play normally. Play normally. Do things right. When it shifts to 3 kills, you're going to notice you have a lot more pressure in terms of a double kill bot lane. So what we might see there is pathing down just to get the double kill if possible. Then you can always repeat gank that on a second sequence. You can gank mid lane throughout. There's a lot of ways to get 3 kills in this game based upon the compositions you have. But for us here from the Lee Sin's perspective, assuming, say, you don't get that at all, which is always a nice assumption to make, how can we get 3 objectives in first turret first? Will give you a great baseline for jungling correctly. Oh, dear me. Not a good game for skill shots. So really, hopefully what you're seeing is it's a lot about reframing how you see your strategies. Now, Graves is going to show up here. There, of course, is the Ornn rotating down. Aurora's going to rotate as well. Lee Sin's pretty damn strong at this particular point. We got the Tunneler as well as the Eclipse. Graves is trying to commit and contest, but he just doesn't have the cash money. It's 4.1 to 5.9, as I said in the last video. When you have 2,000 gold, don't matter if they get free booties at all. Grubs will be the second objective for us. So I'm always going to approach these videos because I know a lot of you are going to say, but what if, right? It's good to ask what if, but it's also good to be realistic. So we're just going to look at a lot of these videos. How do I get 3 objectives? From the 3 objectives, where can I turret dive and push turrets? Because those are the things you can 100% control 99% of the time. Obviously, there are losing game states. I'm aware of that. I understand. But the goal is always the same when you log in, right? When you queue up, when you get into the game. There the Lee Sin Q hits. That should be good for another one. We're going to safeguard out as well. Absolutely massive, absolutely huge. Now, the first turret in this particular game was lost. So the best thing we can do is snag the 3 objectives. And of course, if we get the first 3 kills, then we'll win that out. And if not, we already lost it, so who cares? The gold lead is just huge for us personally. In game though, it's only 900 gold, but from the jungle position, 2,000 gold. So all the lead is on the Lee Sin, 702. And you've noticed now, we're 8 out of 10 KP. Has any of it felt forced to you? The Graves felt forced, didn't it? The Graves invade here. The Graves Raptors invade there. The Graves contest in this grub pit here. Those things felt forced. And in turn, the guy didn't actually get to do anything. Whereas at Lee Sin, everything was smooth, reacted perfectly, expected things to occur. Now we do a little bit of the cheese to ensure we're in a great position. We do have the kick as well. There's a scout of the week. There's a sucky ball, and we'll hit another Q to a Q into a Q. Many Qs from each champion. And then Syndra will Q. Aurora's top lane here. Right, so in theory, we have 1 objective, 2 objectives waiting for the next dragon. See, this is it. This is it. I'm F-king around here. We get the kill. Graves like, yeah, for sure, I can do this. And of course, Graves is strong enough to be able to do this. But at the same time, binding off a little bit more than he can chew, just purely because Lee Sin has the Eclipse. He has a built-in lifesteal mechanic. He does actually get the kill there. So granted, well played to the Graves. But I'm always going to ask, is it worth his death here versus taking top side, potentially killing her, taking his top side, getting some golden experience back in a classical sense? Because you just went 1 for 1. Sure, there's shutdowns to be had. Sure, there's advantages to be had by killing the... Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's a lot of skill shot. Like, Challenger lobby. Very funny. I enjoy. Corki champion spotlight gets CC'd, gets killed. These fights are the ones that you are seeing, like the Graves dying and this one here. Like, what are we fighting over necessarily? Yeah, plate denial, but nothing of value is necessarily being gained outright, and that's obviously what we want to avoid, these scenarios. But I mean, nothing you can do. People are going to do that beginning of the season. They always do. Whole point is, copy the Lee Sin's methodology, the attitude, the reactions, the ganks. It's all great baseline jungling, executed flawlessly. Alright, I just wanted to cut back here a little bit because I started talking about something else. The Graves got a huge shutdown on the Lee Sin, so the gold gap now is still 1,100, it's not 2,000, right? So it's a big shutdown he stole from the Lee Sin. But there's a reason why I don't really care too much. And of course, the Graves is not going to loop camps to a degree where he will get a little bit of a slingshot and experience. He is up 11 CS now. So he will be up in experience from the death, from the sequencing, from the waves that he's been able to accumulate. But if I'm Lee Sin, I'm not concerned. If I'm playing these champions, I'm not concerned because I know that at my item spike here, okay, we both have the same unspent gold, so our lead is literally 1,100. You telling me that you don't like an 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 gold lead? Okay, my lead shifted a little bit. But I have a full completion. I like my completion better. My boots are completed. That's great. Of course, we don't have feats of strength, and we don't care at all. Don't be thrown by this. You just go, okay, well, you know, you got the shutdown on me. Was close. You still almost died and didn't get anything, so it was a bit of a risk for you. You got it. Now watch. Nodal's hook misses again. Second one of all time. Q hits from the Lee Sin. And now he's going to look and say, root. Airborne. And now he's dead. And now the Syndra shows up and she's going to try and kill us. Whoa! The kick we tried. Leone's rotating over. Aurora's kind of sitting top lane for a long time. Ornn's doing a good job just holding this. Aurora really can't impact the map with her advantage, and Ornn will scale nicely. But again, you know, 2 items for the Lee Sin now. And that's the most important thing here. Okay, they're sieging a little bit. They're grouping up a little bit. Our team are not. But as always in these games, you don't get stressed. You don't get frustrated. You just process the information in a very, not to use the buzzword, in a stoic-like manner. Alright, Graves killed me. Got the shutdown. Still got a huge lead. Do my quadrant. Oh, I see an action to be dead. Let me go kill him. Cool. Oh, their whole team rotated and I died. Well, a little bit unlucky. Aurora's still top lane. Yone wasn't even in the fight. All right, cool. I can handle that. And now we have the next objective up. So, assuming here that we got first turret, hypothetically, this would be our feats of strength, right? Nice and delayed 60-minute feats of strength because they get first blood, but they have 2 objectives. We have, well, they have 1. No, that's incorrect. They have 0 objectives. Weak. We have 2 objectives. So this would be a great opportunity for us to get the feats of strength, right? In this particular case. That's why we want to set up to fight this. Lee Sin is a miss. That would be feats of strength, by the way, if we had first blood. 3 objectives. First blood. If we first to 3 kills. Oh, beautiful Yone ult. On over the wall we go with the Lee Sin hit. Oh my goodness. What are these skill shots this game? Lee Sin's like, yeah, nope. And this is what I'm talking about. Look, 3v1, don't greed. Don't think you can be a hero. You cannot. You are not Foo Fighters. Run away. Leave. Good. Done. Hello, Seraphine. Can we push this turret a little bit? Can I counter jungle a little bit? Let's keep this pressure up. Yes. There's a Syndra. Ward up. Into a slow. Can we hit it? Oh, the minions shut up. Unlucky. And now we're blocked by them. No food for you. No meat on the menu. And we're going to push this around over here. Seraphine has actually just left, so maybe we can hit this. This is super squishy. Now, like, if you got an ADC that's in a decent position, anybody, please hit this if you got grubs. You know, if Seraphine actually just tried to go ahead and hit that, we would have gotten it. Don't forget to pick up these big roses. They give huge amount of petals. There we go. Atakan will be on the bottom side, 17 minutes. So Herald's on the map. Now, in theory, we're looking at the map state. It's like, okay, well, I could expect him to go for the Herald, so I'm not going to bother with that kicker in the face instead. Cool. I will give up the Herald and set up for the Atakan. What you can obviously do is go back to base, set up and fight and win it again, take this, punch it down here, and then go do Atakan. Or if you don't want to do that, you can do this, push this out, take this anyway, do Atakan nicely and smoothly with a pick first, like a Baron setup, and then use the Herald afterwards with the Ruinous Atakan buff. So that's where things kind of get a little, pick your poison. In this case, we chose to give this up, and again, honestly, like the Graves, you can tell who's adapted quickly, who hasn't. Who has good jungle fundamentals and who hasn't. You saw Lee Sin bottom lane. Go. Take it. Like, okay, fine. You want the Raptors. Okay, good. But now you're delaying. Okay, come on. Like, I would have preferred to take this with the time I had, knowing he's down there and there's no fight whatsoever. Snack that baby up, control it, and then if I have time to go to Raptors afterwards, cool. Otherwise, I can rotate into this fight. Cool. Right? Give yourself the opportunity. Now it's really silly to rotate to the fight because you're not going to want to help your team. You're going to want to finish off the Herald here. And the Corki kills the Yone. Now you're losing your bottom side. Counter jungling, tracking, extrapolation, pressure points, objective flow. Learn when to give up objectives. Learn when to not to give up objectives. And obviously, don't smite early. That's an important one. So, we also have these embers too. So we have embers and roses. It's a little much. As you can see, guys, Lee Sin at 2 items is pretty strong. 10,000 gold to 8,000 gold, 10,000 gold lead again. It's very much a case of, hey, if I got a 2,000 gold lead on you before, I can do it again. Atakan will be spawning in about a minute, so we want to make sure we maximize our pick and map pressure, and as well as our buy. Goodness gracious, Corki damage is outrageous. But ADCs are weak and terrible. They suck. Oh my goodness. They're so horrible. Double-sided coin there. Can do what Corki did and can also get killed like Corki did. So that's the ADC paradox is always they want to be able to do damage and kill everybody while also being very strong and being like they don't want to be able to be killed, which is not realistic. But yeah, do understand ADCs are having a hard time a little bit. At the same time, I don't really have sympathy. I don't think anybody does because we had that ADC meta for how long in 2014? You guys will be strong again. They'll bring back the Giant Slayer passive. You'll be able to kill the tanky boys again. No stress. So here, we got a few seconds until Atakan. And this is where I've also, as I've mentioned in these videos, gotten a little bit stuck sometimes. I'll go top side when Atakan's up. But at the same time, you got to treat the Atakan like the Baron. Okay, so if the Baron is spawning you down here, that's fine. Because ain't no one going to do it and rush it in the fog of war when they're a little bit behind by themselves. Right? So we know that we can afford ourselves to do this quadrant. Assess the map and stare at the map. That's what I'm doing. We see this. There's a rose petal as well. And we can cut down for this and maybe set up nicely. So you're setting the map up. We want to go back and buy, actually. Instead, we see the... Ooh, the Q misses. I thought we were going to buy for a second. But this is what you want here. TB being committed by the Ornn. Seraphine. Oh, come on, Seraphine. Like one ult, man. Lee Sin going in, going out, looking for the kick angle. We don't have one. Graves has killed the Yone. We're going to go in there, dash back out again. Oh my goodness gracious me. That hook does hit. Q does hit. That should be a dead Pyke. He's stunned, so he's 100% dead. Good, we'll normalize that one. Corgi is dead as well. The Seraphine ults, man, like these are absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. This is a great example of, hey, you want to do a Baron? Hey, you want to do a high-level objective? You got to make the pick and win the team fight before you do it. Likewise, you don't have to force it just yet because you can go do the dragon first. There we go. Zone a little bit. Your team doesn't need you to be there. If you can kill the enemy jungler 1v1, you have a 2-level lead now, plus a 2,000 gold lead. Yeah, Graves, you're not going anywhere, man. You're going to get slowed. He has built-in lifesteal. He's got a missing HP button that he can press. Team can do that well. I mean, if everyone leaves the dragon, not everyone can do the dragon. Because there ain't no one left to do the dragon. Okay, there we go. Very nice. Now, Atakan's the thing we want to burst out here as quickly as possible, but as you can see, it gets a little bit tough. However, top lane no TP, to mid lane, and 2 dead. So, for us, it's free as a bird. And we can do that in Skinner style. Takes a while, though. Don't forget to go gardening afterwards. Pluck those flowers. There we are. Very nice. Now, what are we at here? 49, 51, 30 adaptive force. Corki's team has 14, 12.4 adaptive force. I mean, you're looking at basically a just under 20 adaptive force lead. That's pretty good. So not only do we now have 25% boost to all our objectives that we secured, and that's my whole point, right? You're seeing in this game, this is what I've been saying for weeks, even before the beginning of the season. Feats of strength, no, you're talking about the wrong thing. Talk about the objectives and the first turret. Because that will give you feats of strength more often than not. And if it doesn't, it gives you a lead that you don't actually care about it, right? So it's a win-win. And Ruinous obviously boosts it up. And of course, if they get it, it's like, oh, wow, you guys got Ruinous Atakan. 25% is 0-0, my friends. Oof, unlucky. Sucks for you. Now, obviously, if they get an Elder, they get another Dragon, they get a Baron, you're going to be wheezing a little bit and struggling because they will get that boost. So it's about just snowballing the lead such that you get the Atakan, or if you have to give it up for whatever reason, you then just don't give them free Barons. Don't give them free Dragons, don't give them free Elder Dragons. You have to push them up forward. You need to be proactive now in actually trying to end the game, and that's where a lot of lower elo players struggle, and that's just a reality. Accept that you struggle at this and get better at it. And put that as a mental focus. You've done your full clear. You got a wave crashing here. Herald has been activated terribly. This mid turret's still standing. Get into his jungle, start to steal camps, get some deep vision, group up a little bit, have your TP in a split push. She's there, she can TP over, take 10 years, but she'll come eventually. There's a joke in there somewhere. And we can take this turret. Nice, Pyke is rotating on the side. We can decide to keep pushing here, we can cut back. No wave, so we're gonna cut back. Can we set traps here? Can we take more camps here? All of the standard setup for Baron. And there's the the Q and the kick and the death. Poor Pyke. Poor Pyke. Deserves it though. There we go, we'll take that one as well. Adaptive force is now at... Oh no, it's the same. Never mind. Roses will dissipate after the Atacan. So you got those few minutes where you really want to punch it. So everything's being altered by the... Nice, oh, beautiful Yone head off of the wall and great positioning by the Lee Sin. In and out and in and out. Same on any champion, please do. There's the Aurora ultimate. Graves is flanking, not in the fight at all, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Graves is like, but guys, why are you fighting without me? And it's like, well, where are you, man? What are you doing this whole time? And basically, that could be the summary of the Graves' that could be the summary of Graves' existence here. So, yeah, enemy healing reduced 0, enemy regen reduced 0. Good job. Now, obviously, if you have to give up a Baron, push waves. It's true. It's what you got to do. There you go. Try and get a bounty. Those still exist, by the way, in case anyone was a little bit uncertain. Lee Sin sees the split pushing Syndra, so you just do a little bit of a collapse here. And now, at this point, this is the League of Legends you know. All the mechanics that we just spent the last 20 minutes talking about, we can use to do the regular strategies and macros that we've always come to know and love. Take your Baron, push your waves up, make your picks. If you need to buy, buy. We've got 3,200 Pocket Dragon spawning. We've decided to stay up because it doesn't really matter. Ideally there, I would suggest, go back to base and buy. Especially if you can buy an item. Seraphine didn't hit that one though. We don't need to though, we'll get a free soul. Oh, she hit one. And we get the dragon and the soul. So Graves is going to be crying in a corner. He deserves to, for one, playing Graves in this patch, and two, playing like a donkey. Now we can buy. Yes, GA, huge. Unkillable. Unkillable at this particular point. Oh, right. No, there it is. Healing done 2,300, 3,700 blocked. And now you do the regular stuff, my friends. Nothing weird about this phase. If you can 2v1 this, go 2v1 this, yeah? That's obviously what we want to do. Yes, there's a kick against the wall. There's a Q. We follow through after the dash. Keep auto-attacking, hitting your slows. Obviously, we can safeguard out if necessary. There we go. Syndra's cutting the wave. Oh my, what are we ever going to do with a cut wave? Ah, boy. It feels frenetic, because it is a little bit, but it hopefully doesn't seem as confusing, right? When you kind of talk it out and figure it out together, because ultimately that's it. Oh my goodness gracious me. There's more picks, more picks, more picks. Ultimately, we're talking a lot about these new systems, but we've just labeled things that people in my club and in the courses and who watch my free YouTube channel for years and years and years now, I've always spoken about this stuff. Hitting turrets, doing damage to turrets, reactive pathing when you see a fight, determine if you can get there or not. All of these things are in the free Jungle Improvement PDF. All of these things are in everything I've talked about, right? I've just said, well, feature strength is what we're going to call it. We'll give you a little reward. The reward was itself. The reward was winning the game if you did those things. Now you're going to get this little stat boost and feel like you're winning the game, but if you're not doing it, you won't win the game. And that's exactly what happened with the Graves here. They got RNG first blood, maybe they get the first 3 kills, they get first turret, but the guy's pathing was off, his counter jungling was off, his reactive pathing was off, his innovators were off. He didn't do damage to turrets, he didn't control objectives. He didn't do all of the things that make junglers junglers. But because he got one little silly mechanic, he feels like, oh, I'm in control. No. Lee Sin was always in control. Hopefully you see why.